Well, if you guys are big fans of the Japanese wrestling scene, you're in luck. You're always on the right channel. So today we're going to be reviewing, of course, Pro Wrestling Evolution or just simply Evolution. As you probably know, for a while we've been hearing about the brand new unveilment of a brand new championship. So the real question is, who will be the first ever Evolution Strong Women's Champion? So we have two semifinal matches, and then of course the main event features the who will be the first inaugural Evolution Strong Women's Champion. So that's going to be a very interesting. Now I did mention recently, of course, I do predict how the finals is going to be, but I don't know for sure how it's going to end because I have one particular favorite, but we'll see how things will go from there. And as you know, Stardom made another pit stop back to Korakuen Hall, featuring, of course, the Future of Stardom Championship. Hina defends her championship once again, this time against Akira Kuragani, who, as you know, by direct right when she defeated her in a tag match, she got a chance for a shot of this belt. So the real question is, will Hina once again reign supreme, or will Kuragani, in fact, become our brand new Future of Stardom champion? That's a very good question. But the main event features, of course, preliminary matches with the combined forces of members of Cosmic Angels, Stars, Neo Genesis taking on Hate. So that's going to be a very interesting event to watch. And then, of course, we cap up our episode with some, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling as we continue with more of the New Japan Soul. This one features a double main event, but also we have of course, as you all know, Hiroki Goto is out of action and withdrawal from the G1 Climax, but however, an open spot has been available. For the real question is, who will take it? And then we have a double main event featuring, of course, the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team belt. As you know, the House of Loser members, Doki and Sho, will defend them against the men who they cheated to get these belts, Master Wato and Yo. And then, of course, we have the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. As you all know, Kosa Fujita is the winner of this year's Best of the Super Junior. Who will walk out, and will he able to defeat, of course, El Desperado, who's been considered by many as one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in the world? Well, we're going to see what happens. And as for the added bonus, no news updates for today. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone. All things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-time news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us or click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. Let's get rocking. So, let's begin with Pro Wrestling Evolution. Okay, Pro Wrestling Evolution. We have Volume 36. This took place recently on the 5th of July at Shinjuku Face. Now, this one was a very interesting event. Now, for those who don't know, not too long ago, maybe a couple of weeks, they announced the unveilment of the first ever championship that they ever will put out, which is, of course, the Evolution Strong Women's Championship. Now, they did set out, of course, four opening round matches, and now we jump into the semi. So let's talk about the semi-finals on this one. The first match we have Zones versus Chanyota. Now these two, of course, many of you may know this. They're known as the Muscle Sisters together when they're teaming. They are two of the strongest wrestlers you probably know. But of course, Zones, as you know, is the home grown girl from Evolution, which is possibly perfect. But of course, we know Zones is a strong, capable wrestler. But she was able to pick up the victory when she applied a lariat on Chanyota. And just like that, she was able to punch her ticket to the finals, where it's going to be our main event. Now, our other match in the semifinals, we have Chi-Chi versus Momoka Anazono. Now, of course, many of you know this. I used to call, of course, Momoka Anazono as a terror in the ring. I'm not talking about, oh, she cheats and all that. I'm talking about her unusual, unorthodox antics, that she does in order to pick up the win. But however, Chi-Chi prevailed, of course. As you all know, many people often say Chi-Chi is the prospect of Evolution. Well, she was able to pick up the victory and punch her ticket to the finals when she applied it Norinagi onto Momoka. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, she was in. So she faces against Zones. Now, I will talk a little bit about that match and why it's important. Now, our next match, we have a men's tag team match. We have Dan Tamura teaming up with Shuji Ishikawa. They take on DDT's very own Yukio Naya and Harashima. Now, of course, many people would say Dan Tamura and Ishikawa are the most likely duo to win due to the fact that Ishikawa is the producer of the show and that sort of thing. But, of course, seeing Harashima, he was able to pick up the win by applying a running Meteora onto Dan Tamura. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, they picked up the win. Our next match, as you probably know, we had the much recent girls who participated in the tournament. Now they team up against each other. Chika teams up with Soy. As you know, they represent Evolution. They team up against Aki Shizuki and Natsu Surime. As you probably know, these two ladies are the outsiders. But that always plays out pretty well because, as you probably can guess, these four women were the ones that participated in the opening round matches, but they eventually lost. But in the end, you ask yourself how this was going to play out. Now, there are some advantages of this. Chika is the much bigger individual. Not like, threatening like Bozilla or Mega Bane. Mostly like she's just big and it's hard to beat. But in the end, it was Shizuki who was able to pick up the win when she applied a very powerful lariat onto Chika. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, we have Shinya Aoki versus Suwama. Now, for those who don't know who Shinya Aoki is, he's a wrestler. You may see him do technical aspects. He has appeared in DDT countless times. He even appeared. He was, of course, a former Lidet UWF champion in Glee. So much of his technical aspects plays out pretty well. However, Suwama, as you know, he is a strong competitor. But unfortunately, this match ended in a 15-minute time limit draw, which was a bummer. But I'm pretty sure many of you probably would like to see. But of course, in the post-match, those two decided to continue on. Like, I'm not done yet. Like, I'm still gonna kick your behind. That sort of thing. Now, our main event is, of course, the finals of the Evolution Strong Women's Championship Tournament. The real question is who will walk out as the winner. Now, to me, I feel we run back into full circle. Now, for those who may not know this or not, this is not the first time these two ladies had confronted each other. The first time was in their first year anniversary show last year. It was Chi-Chi versus Zones. Now, many people, I would say, put their bets on Chi-Chi because people have spoken highly of her because many say she was a prospect. And I have to say, many people were right. And to be fair, I was one of those people that made a bet on her, knowing that I would love to see her win. I mean, we've seen her, how much she's grown. Not to mention, she actually learned how to use the Uranagi from Suri. And of course, this plays out pretty well. Like, I think this is one of those moments because you got to remember these two ladies are the original were the OGs of Evolution. It started out with three, those two along with Sunny. But of course, Sunny, as you all know, retired, but she works now as a referee with Evolution. That is also it's another story in itself. But these two are the last remaining of what it was of the original uh, uh, roster from what when it first started. But in the end, I think many of us were not anticipated. But there was a great moment. Chi Chi actually showed her aggressiveness outside the ring when Zones was using a chair on her and she tried to use it on her back. And I have to say, Chi Chi has grown significantly. I mean, yeah, she is this cute little Barbie girl, but she has to show that she cannot be cute and nice. You have to be aggressive if you're going to succeed to win championships. But unfortunately, that did not happen for her because Zones picked up the victory by applying a lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Zones is our very first ever Evolution Strong Women's Champion. Now, I was disappointed because like I said, I made my bet on Chi Chi to win because I felt like she has grown a lot. But this is one of those moments where I feel like Chi Chi has to look back and realize that she has to find a way to beat the one person that defeated her twice. And I hope the third time is where she finally gets, how to say, justice in its own way in order to get it. But as for Zones, as you know, well, as you probably can guess, apparently someone just lined up to be the first challenger, the challenger for the belt, and that person is none other than Soy. So it's still unclear when will that happen, but we will see soon enough. As soon as they post when that match will happen, I'll let you guys know. But as of right now, we'll end things here with Evolution and move on with Stardom. Okay, Stardom. Niter and Korakuen in July. So this is their much recent event that happened. Now, we opened up with a pre-show on this one. We have Kikyo Furuzawa versus Momo Kogo. Now, as you all know, many of you have seen what incredible talent Furuzawa has been, but however, she is a rookie. She may be good as what she can do as a technical wrestler, but she has a lot to learn. But she's facing against a wrestler who has a bit more experience than her. So you probably can guess how that match ended. It ended with, of course, Momo Kogo applying the peach nectar, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Now let's jump into our opening card of the match. We have Mi Vida Loca, consistent of Izuki Aoki, Bozilla, and Zuzu Suzuki. They take on God's Eyes, Kiyoka Kotatsu, Lady C, and Ami Sori. Now, of course, there were some great moments I did like is when it comes to Ami Sori and Bozilla. Now, Ami Sori is a strong, capable wrestler. But however, when she's facing someone like Bozilla, who has been considered undestructible, who is very hard to put down, that became the story to tell. But however, uh, apparently Bozilla defeated her by applying a sit-down power bomb, and then just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But of course, Bozilla decided to put out a promo because, as you know, she is aiming for the New Japan Strong Women's Championship. So that means she will be facing Azumi real soon. Now, our next match, this one's a very interesting of combination. We have the members of EXV consisting of Rian, Hanako, and Waka Tsukiyama. They team up with FWC, Koguma, and Azuki. They team up with a very interesting combination. We have Yuri Him, who is currently still unaffiliated. She teams up with Saki Kashima, who represents God's Eye, and she teams up with the members of Cosmic Angels, Aya Sakura, Sayaka Kurara, and Yuna Mizumori. However, as you all know, there were certain times we have seen Kashima, who is not a big fan of Lady C. Well, she decided to throw a little video, use the camera to video Yuria, Aya, Sayaka, but not Yuna. So basically, she kept ignoring her. But however, many of us know when it comes to Saki, she tends to try to take the spotlight when it's the moment where she thinks like she did the hard work. No, I mean, we saw some great combinations, but in the end, it was, of course, Kurara, in fact, who picked up the spear on Rian, but it was Kashima who was the legal person that picked up the win, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So just like that, it was really fun to watch. Now our next match, we have Emma Maishima. She teams up with uh, Honoka from Pro Wrestling Wave. They take on Neo Genesis, Miyu Amasaki, and Mei Sita. I have to say, Honoka was really impressive when she did that little flippy thing on the side, but that only did so much. But in the end, it was Mei Sita with a drop kick onto on Maishima, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, our next match, this one's an important match because many of you already know this. This will be the last match for Shuri, who will be taking a break from Stardom to recover from some injuries that she's not obtained, but she'll be doing some extra training overseas, and she faces against Rana Yagami. As you know, this was an important match for Yagami because she's facing against someone who she looked up to, someone who she always believed that she'll learn a lot from her. And of course, Shuri, as you know, has a background in MMA that sets it out. But in the end, it was Shuri who walked away with the win. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. And of course, she put out a very heartfelt moment of her promo, as you know, informing the fans that this will be her last day, taking a break from Stardom. But she did promise people that she'll come back as a Super Saiyan. So if those don't know what Super Saiyan is, that's a reference to Dragon Ball Z. If you guys know Dragon Ball Z, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So I can't wait to see that happen. So hopefully we'll hear more from her. Hopefully she gets well, she trains well, and hopefully we see her stronger than she's ever been. But so right now, let's keep on moving forward to our next match, and this one is our semi-main event, and it's for the Future of Stardom Championship. Hina makes her next defense, but this time against Akira Kurigani. Now, it's no secret that Kurigani has aimed for this belt once before, but unfortunately, Kurigani gets that opportunity when she pinned Hina in a match, and now she gets that chance. But however, does Kurigani has the capability to dethrone Hina? Now remember, of course, Hina has to step up the shoes, has to not step up out of the shadows of both her sisters, of Rina and Hanan, the previous champions before her. But of course, there were moments where, of course, Hina had this match won when she had Kurigani in the ghetto clutch, but she kicked out. But of course, there was only one logical step left in her arsenal, and that is the frog splash. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. So just like that, Hina retained the championship. And of course, during the post-match promo, she had some words of encouragement towards Kurigani. I'm sure she told her that she'll become future champion one day, but that was not today. But however, her next challenger made her presence known, and many of you may know her. Our winner of this year's Cinderella tournament, it's Sayaka Kurara. Now, it seems like Hina had this disdain look towards her. I'm not sure it's because she might think that she might not deserve to become Cinderella champion. I don't know. But fortunately, it will happen. I did later learn that this match will take place on the 21st of this month, I believe. And hopefully I get the chance to see it. If not, then I apologize to all of you for that. Now, our main event, we have a very interesting combination. We have the Cosmic Angels, Sayuri Anu and Natsupoi. Wing Gori, our current Goddesses of Stardom champions, Sayaida and Hanan. They team up with Neo Genesis, Azumi, and Starlight Kid. Azumi, the New Japan Strong Women's Champion, and Starlight Kid, our Wonder of Stardom champion. And of course, both of them are 2/3 of our artist champions. So that sets it out. But they face against Hate. We have Fukigen Death, Raka, Konami, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, and our current Wonder of Stardom, World of Stardom champion, Red Belt, of course, Sayaka Mitani. But you can tell there's a preliminary match in this one. As you know, Natsuko Tora and Raka, better known as BMI 2000, they issued a challenge for the tag belts against Wing Gori. And of course, that is something that will happen soon. And of course, Natsupoi issued the challenge for the red belt. But of course, when it comes to Hate We know they have dirty tactics. They find ways to ensure that this match will fall in their favor. But in the end, it was Natsupoi who pulled up an amazing win when she defeated Kamitani, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. However, each individuals had their own say to their upcoming opponents. Natsupoi to Kamitani, who is in fact, of course, her opponent for the red belt. BMI 2000 opponents for the Goddesses tag belt, and then of course Anu accepted Starlight Kids chance for the white belt match to be her opponent. So that will take place too. And then of course Azumi called out Bozilla, and you know how that goes. So I'm looking forward to what's going to happen next. And Natsupoi, of course, as the winner, had to close down the show. But I'm sure she did a pretty good job. I'm sure it's not easy because she's seen Tam do it, but I'm sure deep down Tam would be proud of her. We'll just wait and see what happens from here on out. But as of right now, let's end things here with Stardom. Move on with New Japan. Okay, final review. New Japan Pro Wrestling with Day 9 of New Japan Soul. Now, we will get to, of course, the play-in matches for the G1 open spot in the A block, and of course, our double main event, both IWGP Junior Championships, the tag and the singles title will be defended. Now, our first match, we have, of course, the House of Losers, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, Yujiro Takahashi, Ren Narita, Sanada, and Evil taking on Huntai. More specifically, Ryosuke Taguchi, Tomoaki Hamna, Bolton Oldleg, Yuya Uemura, and Shuta Umino. Now, of course, when it comes to the House of Losers, we know they like to cheat their way through, think they're tough. No, they're a bunch of losers with big baby diapers. That's what they have. But of course, we did see Ren Narita use that damn push-up bar on Tomoaki Hamna, allowing for Evil to make the kill shot on Hamna with the Everything is Evil. And just like that, they may have walked away with victory. But the real question, I think, Chris Carlton was questioning, are these jerk monkeys going to get themselves involved in the upcoming match? Because Chase Owens is in the gauntlet match for the open spot. And of course, we cannot forget Tweedledee and Tweedledum involved in the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. So that's one of the things that we will see. Now, our next match, we have, let's call them the unaffiliated, consistent of Hiromu Takahashi, Yota Tsuji, and Shingo Takagi, formerly of the LIJ, taking on TMDK, Harley Jackson, Rohei Oiwa, and Zack Sabre Jr. So I have to say, this is one of those moments where how will the unaffiliated move on now that they're no longer called LIJ, but of course people still consider them as LIJ. I don't know. But they are still the same as we remembered. But it was the great combination from both Shingo and Yota Tsuji with the pumping blaster onto Jacob Austin Young. And Tsuji picked up the win with the pinfall. And just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. However, it appears now they're recruiting new people for their unaffiliated world. And that is, of course, that is Young Lion, Daiki Nagai. No one expected this. This is almost similar to what we saw with Kosa Fujita when he was being recruited to join TMDK under the direction of Zack Sabre Jr. So that is one of the things that no one expected, but it's really interesting how that was rolling up. Now, our next match, we have one of the most decorated characters and, of course, one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in the world, Tiger Mask, taking on Hiroshi Tanahashi. Now, of course, you all know why this match is happening. Tanahashi will be retiring at the start of 2026 as an in-ring competitor. So he's taking in many as matches as he possibly can take until he finally officially retired. But of course, Tiger Mask, as you know, as older that he is, and I think he is the 4th Tiger Mask. I don't know how long they last, but in the end, it was Tanahashi with the high five flow, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. Now, this next match is called the G1 G1 Climax 35, Block A play-in gauntlet match. Now, for those who don't know, I mentioned this. Hiroki Goto, as you know, recently was in a match against Zack Sabre Jr., losing to him for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. However, because of the injury he obtained in the match, he had to withdraw from the five-star Grand Prix. So they're giving the opponents who did not win in the play-in matches one final shot. Now, it started out with Chase Owens versus Satoshi Kojima. Now, of course, Satoshi Kojima is a veteran in the wrestling world. You would think in some ways he would bring out the big fight against Chase Owens. But unfortunately, Chase Owens picked up the win when he applied the crown jewel, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he wins this match. However, he faces against Taichi, and of course, Chris Carlton was right all along, and I felt like maybe he was right. Effin Sonata showed up. Yeah, Sonata, the man that betrayed Taichi, screwing him for the IWGP Global title, showed up once again to ensure that Chase Owens wins. But thank God for Taichi's tag team partner, Tomohiro Ishii, showed up to even the odds, and that's exactly what happened. But however, it was in fact Taichi who walked away with the win with the jackknife, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he damn win it. I mean, he went through hell because of a freaking House of Losers, but now he faces against a guy who is his tag partner, but someone that he knows too well. He is a tough SOB. And I have to say, Taichi had to dig further down in his goddamn soul, knowing too well he could lose this opportunity. But he did everything humanly possible to take down a strong competitor, and that's exactly what he did. He applied the Black Manifesto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, he is in the G1. So this, I'm sure it hurts him that he did this to his tag partner, but he knows that this is way too important. But we'll see what happens. I'm sure Ishii is happy for him that he put up a hell of a fight for him, but we'll see what goes on from here on out. Now, our next match is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Now, as you all know, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Doiki and Sho, cheated their way through to get these belts away from Yo and Master Wato by targeting Wato's knee. And they get another opportunity for these belts. But of course, the same old crap again, this time with Doiki attacking Wato's leg. And that kind of sets it out. However, of course, like recently, the other members of House of Losers showed up, Kanemaru and Yujiro, but thank God for Tomohiro Ishii, who is 1/3 of the never open-weight 6-man tag team champions, along with Wato and Yo, showed up to deal with the dirty hands. But however, unfortunately, things didn't go well for Yo and Wato, because it was Doiki who picked up the win with the De La Luna suplex, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, effing Doiki walked away with the win, which is sad, but I hope someone takes those belts off of these jerk monkeys at the start of 2026. Now, for our main event is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Kosei Fujita, who is this year's Best of the Super Junior, faces against one of the best junior heavyweight competitors in the entire world, El Desperado. Now, for those who did not know, Zack Sabre Jr. was not there in ringside. Obvious reasons why. For those who may remember, Zack Sabre Jr. and El Desperado were once members of what used to be Suzuki-gun. And of course, Kosei Fujita was his protege, who was like a father figure to him. So you probably can guess he does not want to play favorites on this one. So he had to watch this from a sideline. He knows that he'll always be happy for Despy because of their friendship, and not to mention their time with Suzuki-gun. But Kosei Fujita, who learned a lot from him, you know, who always been prouder of him, of the things he can do. And I have to say, Kosei Fujita, I mean, he was amazing. I mean, he was one of those guys who was willing to prove his worth no matter what, and that's exactly what he did. But unfortunately, we saw a brand new submission move. I'd never seen that with Despy, and he picked up that win by submission, retaining the championship. And sometimes I wonder, inside Zack Sabre Jr.'s head, what does he think of this move? Because I'm sure as a technical wrestler, he would think, I never seen something like that before. I'm sure he's going to try to figure something out on that move, not only for himself, but for Kosei Fujita the next time, if Despy still holds that belt, but that's for another conversation another time. But we'll see who will be the next competitor to take on Despy. But as of right now, we are officially done with everything, so let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do because I still need to catch up with Tokyo Pro Wrestling and Mighty Gold and a few other wrestling shows, but eventually I'll catch up. So I'm jumping in now from events from last May, and I'm sure I can do those as quickly as possible. But stay tuned. I do have a special announcement for all of you regarding a weekend I may not be here. So we'll just see what happens from here on out. But until then, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day.